dua. That is where the real power of the dua comes. It is not just coming from simply the words which are said. So there are universal laws, okay? And sometimes what happens to us is that we want things to happen before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed that thing to happen. If we do something, victory, we want it and we want it now. And we know that this is the phenomena of modern society, where everything that you want it and you want it now. And it's almost as if, I've made a little effort, therefore I must have it, I must get it. Okay? I made that dua. Why it is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not answered my prayer? And everything takes time, it takes a particular course. And sometimes, and we will come to this aphorism, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes something away from you. You have a lovely family, everything seems to be going well, everything is good with your job, all is well. I'm praying, I'm able to go to the mosque, life can't be any better. And then suddenly something happens where you're deprived of something. It's taken away from you, ripped away from you. And sometimes you begin to question, all of this prayer that I've been doing, why it is that, it's come to naught? Because, I pray to Allah for goodness and for happiness, and I don't have it anymore. Allah is saying that sometimes He takes things away from you. Because it could be that you've just turned the other way. It could be that you are becoming negligent and neglectful in what you're doing. So by taking it away from you, now you begin to realize, hold on, I've been deprived of something which is important to me. So what do? I want it back. So how do you get it back? You turn to Allah. He wants you to turn to Him. So sometimes He deprives you of things. It puts you in a state, it gives you a disease, it gives you cancer, it does all sorts of things to you. Why? Because He's asking you to turn to Him. He's asking you to turn to Him. And this is important for us to realize, inshallah. So let's look at the next aphorism. And this one is about relying on God. And it says, save yourself from worrying. Someone else already took care of your fears for you. Which is a bit easier to understand. So what do you think this one means? Anybody?
Your affairs is already taken care by Allah.
Okay, your affairs is taken care by Allah. Anything else? Okay. What do they say in Jamaica? Tariq? No problem. Don't worry. And what? Be happy. Okay? Or no problem, as they say in other Caribbean islands, okay? Don't worry, be happy.
No big deal.
Okay? Don't worry.
I would say it's like, if you're a child of a household, right? The affairs are normally handled by the parents. The family affairs, like the decision making, is normally handled by the parents. So the child is not really going to be concerned. Yeah, he may be concerned at some point, but the final decision is not made on him. It's
Okay.
made on the child.
Okay. Okay, let's look at reference 359. So turn to your Quran. Everybody has a Quran with them. Look at reference 359. There are Qurans there for everyone to look at. 3159, sorry. 3159. Everybody got it? Now this is an exercise that I do I teach a group of children every week. There's a small group. So I want them to be able to learn how to engage with the Quran. So one of the things I do, I said, I give them assignments. So I said, look, I want all of you to find references for every single animal in the Quran. So they all have to go home, they have to take their Quran and then search for the meaning. Then I gave them different translations. Say, everybody, you take a different translation of the Quran. You take this one, you take that one. And then sometimes we take particular ayat of the Quran and say, well, look, you read and tell me what you think. You read and tell me what you think. And these are children, they're only 7 to 10. They're not, they're very, very small children. And you will be amazed, even at that age, when you engage with them, when you engage with them, how they're able to understand even differences between translations. And they become so absorbed into the whole thing. But so now they're interfacing with the Quran. The Quran is not something somewhere on a shelf. They have the Quran with them, the book with them. And this is what I want you to do, inshallah. And this is how I want you to be able to help others when you get back home. Okay, so 3159. What do you think it says?
If you have the help of Allah,
Yeah.
you put your trust in Allah,
Yeah.
then you should not worry in the sense
Okay.
that you would not.
So put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who will define the outcome? Allah will define the outcome. In a sense, has the outcome already been decreed? Yes, it has. Okay. Do we know the outcome? No, we don't. Must we try? Yes, we must. Can we assume that we know what the outcome, that everything will be fine? No, we can't. And that's important for us. It's really important for us. It means that, you see, very often what we do is that we rush elsewhere. We keep on running. Okay, for instance, and sometimes in running, we begin to compromise what we have, our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it could be our prayer. It could be that, that we at work and we worried about, other people looking at us, whether we are Muslims or whether or not when it's time for prayer and everyone says, no, we're going out to, let's say, have a meal in a restaurant. And you're thinking to yourself, how long is this meal going to be? And you say, well, look, it's, that it's going to be at the time of Salah. But you're afraid to tell them, well, look, you know what, guys, I'd love to have a meal with you, to go out with you, but I need to make sure that I have arrangements for prayer at this particular time. But sometimes people sort of begin to hide their faith. Sometimes people at work, some of my colleagues at times, I might tell them assalamu alaikum and they say, hi, how are you? And not because, but when we are alone somewhere else, or perhaps in a mosque, they'll probably say wa alaikum assalam. But because they are afraid, they, in terms of their identity, they compromise the identity in that particular. So, but this is important for us, okay? Because sometimes what happens to us is that we carry with us a lot of burdens. We weigh ourselves down with everything. And there's something which Steve Covey, how many of you have read his book? The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Huh? How many of you read his book? A couple of you? Okay, Sheikh Abdul Alim has read the book? Okay. So one of the things he talks about in that book is something called the circle of concern and influence. Circles of concern and circles of influence. And what does that mean? It means that in life, there are some things which you can do, which you have control over. And those are the things that you should begin to prioritize. And there are some things in life which are of concern to you, but you will have very little effect on. Very little effect on. You can't do anything. Now, what do we tend to do? What we tend to do is that we tend to focus upon the things that we do not have any concern on. Okay? So I belong to many WhatsApp groups. I'm sure most of you belong to many WhatsApp groups are. And sometime in the morning, after 6 hours, I open my WhatsApp and I see like, wow, 1,500 text messages during the course of the night. I'm sure it's probably happened to some of you as well. And these are WhatsApp groups with Muslim scholars, with workers, with all types of people, different types of groups. So do I actually read those 1,500 messages? You just press a button called delete and it goes, okay? But when I look, I did a sort of analysis, okay? I did an analysis. I took the WhatsApp group, I took the messages, and I tried to analyze them in terms of what is the content of the messages and whether the content of the messages is something that concerns us directly or whether it's something else. And wallahi, by Allah, over 95% of the messages that have been sent in most of the group I found had nothing to do with things which affect people directly. They talk about something happens, Trump says something, it's easy to forward and to send it off. And there's a debate upon what he said, the Muslim ban, this thing, that thing, so forth. Something happens in Palestine, everybody is talking about it. How dare people behave like that? The Israelis bomb Gaza. You know, something is happening in Yemen. The new Saudi king has done something. All sorts of things, you know, they talk about. Are they important? Yes, they are. Are they related to, do they affect us as Muslims? Of course. The Muslim Ummah is like one body. When one part hurts, the rest of the body feels the pain. But can you do something about it? No, you can't. You can't do anything. But can you do something about it in your community? Can you do something which might be related or say, well, look, let me do something to help your own community, to help your family, to help your friends? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the little projects that we are doing? Even if we look at our own WhatsApp groups, let's analyze it. I mean, all of you are part of it. It's called the Caribbean Muslim Youth Network WhatsApp group. Okay, apart from just focus upon the messages which have been forwarded. Sure enough, a lot of them have some good nasiha. But nasiha on their own are not action-oriented items. They're not action-oriented messages. They're not telling you to do something or say, but guys, you know, this is our project that we've been working on, and this is something, and I've come across some hurdles, or these are some issues which are related to what I'm doing.